Okay, let's unpack this. There's definitely a conversation buzzing in the hunting world, right? About whether access to hunting grounds is a problem.
Yeah, big problem. Maybe even driving hunters away from the sport altogether.
Exactly. And you sent over this really insightful piece, the Hunter Access Survey Commentary from the American Hunting Lease Association.
Yeah.
And it's just packed with data, opinions, direct feedback from over 2,200 hunters across the country.
That's a pretty significant sample size.
It really is. So our mission today really is to get beyond those headlines, to dig into what hunters actually think about access, satisfaction, and what it all means for the future.
And it's worth flagging up front, right? This commentary, it is subjective. It's AHLA's interpretation of raw survey results.
Right. Unedited results, but interpreted through their lens.
But it's a pretty informed lens. I mean, they're a trade association constantly talking to hunters, talking to landowners. They've got a good feel for what's happening on the ground.
Absolutely. They have that unique expertise.
And what's so striking, I think, is how this material really seems to challenge some common ideas. The assumptions about declining hunter numbers, this supposed crisis in access.
It makes you ask, doesn't it? Are we maybe focusing on the wrong things? Are we trying to solve the right problems when we talk about the future of hunting?
That's the big question, yeah.
So to really get a handle on this commentary, we need to start with who these hunters are, these 2,200 plus people who responded.
Okay.
And what the survey shows is, well, it's quite telling. These weren't just casual hunters popping out once a year.
No, definitely not.
Overwhelmingly, they were serious, experienced. We're talking 89% considering themselves serious hunters, passionate about the sport's future.
89%, that's huge.
With the experience level, almost 95% have 10 or more years hunting. Get this, 84% have over 20 years.
Wow. Okay, so these are folks who've really seen the landscape change, literally and figuratively.
Exactly. They're not new to the game.
Yeah.
They're deeply embedded in the culture. They know the challenges, the rewards.
Which means their feedback on satisfaction, on access,
Yeah.
it carries a lot of weight, doesn't it? They have perspective.
Absolutely. And here's another fascinating layer. 77% of these veterans had mentored a new hunter in just the last 3 years.
So they're invested in passing it on. That's encouraging.
Very. But maybe the most, surprising insight, the one that kind of reframes how we think about success in hunting.
Go on.
76% said they hunt simply to enjoy the outdoors. Getting an animal, that's a bonus.
Okay, now that really shifts the paradigm, doesn't it?
Right.
If the main driver isn't just the harvest, but the whole experience, being out there, scouting, the tradition, the quiet, then satisfaction means something much broader.
It's not just about did I fill my tag.
Exactly. So maybe the solutions to access problems need to look beyond just, finding more deer per acre.
Definitely. So, okay, we have this profile. Experienced, passionate, committed mentors focused on the outdoor experience. So what did they say about their satisfaction with access? Because this is where it gets really eye-opening, especially compared to some of the doom and gloom narratives.
Okay, let's hear it.
A remarkable 85% said they were satisfied. Satisfied with where and how they gained access. And crucially, they planned to keep hunting the exact same way.
85% satisfied and sticking with it. That really pushes back against the vanishing hunter due to lack of access idea.
It really does. It suggests there's a strong, pretty content core there.
And the commentary sort of digs into this, right? They talk about that idea of the unhappy hunter.
Yeah, they paint this picture, almost a caricature maybe, of someone who wants free, super easy, high-density hunting right near home.
An hour drive, max. And if they don't get it, they're threatening to quit.
Exactly. And AHLA's take on that specific type of hunter, it's blunt.
I bet.
They basically say, and I'm quoting here, any significant efforts or resources spent addressing and solving this hunter's lack of access to quality ground would be a complete waste of time, money, and energy.
Wow, okay. Pulling no punches.
None. And they follow it up with this. A hunting ecosystem where the participants feel entitled to the access of their choice and on their terms is a fragile one and has little to no sustainability.
That word, entitled.
Yeah.
That really gets to the core of it, I think. It flags this necessary shift in mindset.
How so?
Well, the commentary keeps hitting this point. Land is the only thing they aren't making more of. It's a finite resource.
Right.
And as we lose quality habitat to development, which is happening everywhere, the expectation of just having unlimited, free, prime hunting ground, it's just not realistic. It's fundamentally unsustainable.
So that feeling of entitlement clashes with reality.
Completely. It's not just about personal preference anymore. It's a direct challenge to the economics landowners face.
Yeah.
And ultimately, it threatens the land itself. If hunters aren't willing to, adapt, maybe contribute, value that access properly.
Then the land gets used for something else that does pay.
Exactly. Housing developments, strip malls, whatever, the habitat disappears.
It's a critical point. It's not just hunter wants, it's land and landowner needs for sustainability. Okay, so let's dive into specific types of access. Public land is always a big topic.
Huge. And the scale is just massive.
Right. 697 million acres across the country. And it's not all out west, over 100 million acres outside the western states and Alaska. Mostly free, few restrictions.
It's an incredible public resource, and the commentary really highlights it as that perfect entry point, especially for new hunters.
Low barrier to entry.
Right. You can explore, get that deep woods experience,
Yeah.
learn the ropes without a big financial commitment. It's invaluable for building skills.
And interestingly, the survey showed most hunters actually drive less than 50 miles to hunt public land.
Less than 50 miles. That's pretty accessible for most people.
It is. Now, you always hear the complaints, right? Public land is too crowded, it's too pressured.
That's the common narrative, yeah.
But the survey results, they kind of deflate that a bit. Less than 1% of these experienced hunters actually stopped hunting because of pressure on public land.
Less than 1%. That's a tiny fraction.
It really is. It suggests that while maybe crowding is an annoyance, or maybe it deters some casual folks, it's not driving the serious, experienced hunters away.
So what is the issue then, if not just pure crowding?
Well, a commentary points towards education. A call for states to do a better job educating potential users. Meaning it's often not a lack of land, but a lack of knowledge. Like, how do you access this specific parcel? Where can you legally park? What are the regs? How do you even read the maps properly?
Okay. So the barrier isn't the land itself, but the know-how.
Seems to be a big part of it. They say many new hunters are surprised how easy it can be once they learn the process.
And what about that pressure issue, if it's not driving people away?
The commentary suggests it can often be overcome. You just have to be willing to scout more, explore further from the easy access points, put in a bit more effort.
Go beyond the main parking lot, basically.
Pretty much. It's about effort, initiative, maybe walking an extra mile or two, not just sheer availability right by the road.
And the satisfaction reflects that.
Yeah, pretty solid.
Yeah.
75% of the public land hunters surveyed said they were satisfied with their access.
75%, still a strong majority.
So it seems like, a bit of learning and a willingness to work for it makes a big difference on public land.
Okay, makes sense.
Now let's pivot. Let's talk about the other big category, leased hunting access. And the numbers here, they're genuinely astounding.
Okay, I'm ready.
Get this. Of the hunters in the survey who lease access, over 1,000 of them, a staggering finival. 98% are at least mostly satisfied, and they plan to lease again.
98%.
Wow.
Wow, that's almost universal satisfaction.
It's incredible, right? And it's not an anomaly. You mentioned this before, but there's a University of Georgia Outdoor News survey back in 2014.
Right, I remember that one.
Similar finding. 98% said they'd lease again. That consistency is powerful.
It really is. It validates the leasing model pretty strongly, which, of course, begs the question.
If it's so satisfying, why don't more hunters do it?
Exactly. What's the magic sauce in leasing, and why isn't it the default option for more people?
Well, the commentary argues it's not just paying for access. It's about the quality of the experience.
Okay.
And importantly, the relationships you build with landowners. That comes up again and again.
The relationship aspect. That's interesting.
Yeah, when you lease, you often get more control, right? Less pressure from other hunters, maybe better habitat because the landowner has a direct incentive.
Which leads to a more predictable, maybe higher quality hunt overall.
That seems to be the idea. And then there's the financial angle, which is fascinating.
Oh, so?
Hunters already pay to hunt,
Yeah.
right? Big time.
Yep.
The commentary cites figures from 2016, over $20 billion spent. But get this, 87% of that spending was on non-access items.
87% on what? Gear? Travel.
Exactly. Fancy gear, high-end weapons, trucks, ATVs, long-distance travel, all that stuff.
So the argument is hunters are willing to spend a lot of money, just not necessarily on the access itself.
Precisely. The AHLA commentary makes this really strong case. Shift your priorities. Put quality access at the very top of your spending list. Maybe before the newest gadget or the fanciest camo.
Prioritize the place over the things.
That's the essence of it. And crucially, this isn't just about the hunter getting a better experience. It circles back to the landowner.
Right, the other side of the equation.
Landowners face real financial pressures. Property taxes, farming costs, mortgages. It's tough. A hunting lease, the commentary says, can make a very real and immediate difference to their bottom line.
It provides a reliable income stream from the land beyond just traditional agriculture or forestry.
Exactly. And here's the kicker for conservation. That income makes landowners less likely to sell their land for development.
So leasing becomes a direct incentive to keep habitat intact.
Precisely. It helps preserve those vital wild places. So the commentary argues if you're genuinely concerned about access and habitat loss, supporting landowners through leasing should be a top strategy. It's a win-win.
Hunter satisfaction and habitat preservation linked directly through economics. That's compelling.
It really reframes leasing, doesn't it? More than just convenience, it's a conservation tool.
Absolutely.
Which brings us, naturally, to that big question sort of hanging over the whole sport. Do we need more hunters?
Yes. The recruitment question?
Yeah, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service report showed that drop of over 2 million hunters between 2011 and 2016. That really set off alarm bells, sparked this big push for R3 recruitment, retention, reactivation.
It became a major focus for state agencies and conservation groups.
So after looking at all this satisfaction data, what's the verdict from this commentary? Do we need more hunters?
It's a nuanced answer, which I appreciate. They say, essentially, yes, we need more hunters, but
There's always a but.
we need the right hunters. They emphasize hunters who respect those traditions of stewardship, fair chase, ethical behavior. It's about quality, not just quantity.
So not just warm bodies buying licenses, but people who understand and uphold the hunting ethic.
Exactly. And interestingly, the survey respondents themselves seem to point away from access as the main driver of decline. Over half, 56%, blamed a cultural shift away from hunting.
A cultural shift.
Yeah.
That's a much bigger, fuzzier problem than just not enough places to hunt.
It really is. Harder to influence directly.
So if it's cultural, what's the opportunity there? How do you address that?
Well, while changing broad culture is tough, the commentary suggests it lets us focus inward. Improve the hunting experience and the culture of hunting for those who are participating and those we want to attract. Make quality access available, like we discussed with leasing. Address landowner needs proactively, and really double down on mentoring.
We saw that 77% of these guys already mentor.
Which is great.
Yeah.
But the commentary suggests we need better mentoring programs, not just, a PowerPoint presentation and a day at the range.
More involved than that.
Yeah, like robust, structured plans,
Yeah.
mentors available in the off-season, real commitment, creating truly good, engaging mentors who don't just teach skills, but instill that ethic of stewardship.
Mentoring the right kind of hunter for the future, going back to their point.
Exactly.
Okay, and thinking about that long-term future, that's sustainability. There's a crucial piece of the puzzle we haven't really touched on, though it wasn't in the survey directly.
What's that?
The Pittman-Robertson Act from 1937.
PR funding, the bedrock of wildlife conservation funding in the U.S.
Absolutely critical.
Yeah.
And just to remind everyone, this put an 11% excise tax on firearms and ammo, later added archery gear.
With all that money earmarked specifically for state wildlife agencies.
Right, for wildlife restoration, hunter ed, shooting ranges, even buying public land. It's been massively successful. Billions generated over the decades.
A model of user pays, user benefits conservation, hugely successful.
But here's the potential issue, connecting back to hunter numbers. How is that PR funding allocated?
It's based on two main factors: the state's land area and the number of paid hunting license holders.
Ding, ding, ding. There it is. Fewer licensed hunters.
Means less PR funding flowing to the states for those vital conservation programs. It's a direct hit to the system.
A really stark reality check.
Yeah.
Less participation directly equals less money for the resources everyone values.
It's a serious challenge. And the commentary connects this to that other trend we mentioned, the growing cultural shift toward enjoying the outdoors without hunting.
The hikers, the campers, the bird watchers.
Exactly. That whole outdoor recreation industry is now massive. $20 billion a year, they estimate, selling sleeping bags, hiking booths, tents, kayaks.
All used to enjoy the same mountains, forests, and wildlife that hunters have historically paid to conserve through PR.
Precisely. So the commentary floats a pretty bold idea.
Which is?
A strong case could be made, they argue, to expand the Pittman-Robertson Act. Add those other outdoor industry goods, tents, boots, backpacks to the list of taxed items.
So spread the funding base beyond just hunting and shooting equipment.
Yeah. Help alleviate those funding shortfalls that state agencies are facing. It creates a more equitable system, they argue, because all these consumers are benefiting from the resources hunters have largely funded since 1937.
Basically, if you play, you pay, regardless of how you play outdoors.
That's the idea. A broader, more stable financial footing for conservation for everyone. It makes a certain kind of sense.
It definitely does. Okay, so wrapping this all up, what does this deep dive mean for you, the listener?
What's the big takeaway?
I think it shows that, despite maybe some headlines or conversations you hear, the overall picture of hunter satisfaction with access, it looks surprisingly healthy.
Those numbers were really strong.
Yeah, 98% satisfaction for leasers, 85% for free private land users, 75% on public land. And that tiny fraction, less than 1%, stopping because of public land pressure.
Pretty compelling data.
So the key message from this AHLA commentary seems to be about a shift in mindset towards being willing to seek out, maybe even pay for, quality access, prioritizing it, maybe putting it ahead of the next piece of gear, and really actively supporting landowners.
Because that creates a better experience and helps preserve the habitat it's
Exactly. Better experience, better conservation.
Okay. And if we pull back one last time, connect this to the really big picture, it leaves us with a pretty thought-provoking question, doesn't it?
What are you thinking?
Well, state agencies, right? They manage deer herds, turkey populations, other wildlife very carefully. They use bag limits, draw systems, seasons, all designed to ensure the long-term health and sustainability of the resource.
Standard wildlife management, yeah.
So the question is this. Is it possible that hunter numbers themselves are maybe naturally settling into a kind of sustainable level? An ideal number based on all the factors, ecological carrying capacity, social acceptance, economic realities, available habitat.
So instead of constantly pushing for more hunters,
maybe we should consider applying a similar management philosophy, prioritizing the quality of the hunting population and its long-term sustainability rather than just sheer quantity. Is there an optimal number of hunters, just like there's an optimal number of deer for a given habitat?
that is a really powerful thought to end on, definitely something to mull over.
Yeah.
Are we managing hunter numbers for sustainability or just chasing growth?
Something for you, the listener, to consider.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for diving deep with us into this really critical look at hunter access and satisfaction. We hope this gives you a clearer, maybe more informed picture.
And maybe inspires you to think about the why behind these numbers.
And what it all means for the future of hunting and for the future of conservation itself.